Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's the Diane in the Morning Show here with Diane Hochman on the Home Business Radio Network, where we have positive, powered radio. Well, what's going on out there, guys? What's cooking? What's happening? How's business? That's really what I want to get down to today. How's business? I see a lot of people and they're busy, rearranging their desks and making things special and making all kinds of fancy flyers and business cards. Or if you're an internet person, you're busy spiffing up your blog. And just today alone, everybody was, I had all these people that were telling me, well, I had to take a break and I had to do this and I had to do that, but I'm getting ready and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. If you listen to the show much, I am a total straight shooter. So first of all, I want you to go to DianeHochman.com. You know the drill, Hochman, DianeHochman.com. If you have not put in your name and email, if you have not gotten on my list so I can send you out cool stuff and be in contact with you, well, you're just downright kooky. So do it now. And then I love to hear from you. You can tweet me at twitter.com/Diane Hochman. Let me know. Love the show, hated the show, want you to talk about this. Here's a topic I need help with. Tell me whatever you want to tell me, but tell me something. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So we often spend a lot of time doing what we call getting ready to get ready. And really, if you drill it down, if you break it down and you really think about it, what this is it's a fear avoidance. It's an avoidance. It's a fear something's going to be hard or something's going to be difficult or somebody, and here's the big one, somebody might reject me. So I'm going to get busy doing busy work because at least I could feel better. I could feel like I'm doing something. And we're going to talk about some cures for that today, because if you've been around the block a few times and if you're not making the kind of income that you want, I promise you there's nothing wrong with you. I promise you that you're smart enough, you're capable enough, you have the skill sets. This is not a very complicated industry to make money in, but it does require quite a bit of courage, and it does require some smart thinking. Now, I have a gift. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not saying I'm so gifted. The gift came from my mother. My mom was a real street smart kind of lady. We grew up in New York City. She lived in New York City, and she knew how to make sure that she got where she needed to go. She was certainly a lady, is a lady. She's, living in New York, upstate New York now, is a lady, but at the same time, she knew how to be tough when she had to be tough because, let's face it, in New York, you can get mugged, you can get this, you can get that. So she knew how to handle herself. She had street smarts and she had a lot of chutzpah. And that's what I like to think that her gift to me is that's what I have in my home business. I have a lot of street smarts and a lot of common sense. Okay, common sense. I figured out very early that the name of the game was getting in presentations, getting my presentation about what I had to offer in front of as many people as possible. Quite frankly, there was nothing else. There is nothing else. It hasn't changed. Maybe the technology has changed and some of the cool things we do. And, if you know me, I like technology. Let me back up. I'm not good with technical technology, but if I have a vehicle that will let me talk to more people quicker, that makes sense to me because I was taught more presentations equals more money, equals stronger group, so on and so forth. So I'm always looking for ways to make more presentations. But my street smarts, my common sense, I guess, is what has saved me over the last 13 years from getting involved with every fad under the sun. Because I would just look at them. Because there's always going to be a fad. There's always going to be a trend. In fact, sometimes they're even going to come from the people that you trust the most because they think this is going to be a good thing. And, the fads what they do is they tend to be a distraction. And the old saying in network marketing is all distractions are equal. Whether the distraction is you broke a nail, or whether the distraction is the baby's sick, or whether the distraction is you're not feeling well, or whether the distraction is a hot new internet thing that has you off on a tangent, all distractions are equal. The bottom line is that any given day that goes by that you have not gotten presentations in, you haven't done your job. And I don't care if you have pretty brochures and pretty this and pretty that and so on and so forth. We want all of that. We want to enhance all of that. We want to train and read and get all those skills. But any day that goes by that we haven't captured leads and that we haven't made presentations, oh, here she comes. It's so rough, too. They put me in the morning with you guys. And in the morning, hearing some of this stuff is just hard. But maybe it's just what you need. I'm going to take you by the shoulders. And I'm going to shake you today. I'm going to shake you. And I'm going to say, what's your dream? Where are you going? Who are you? What were you born to do? I'm going to look you dead straight in the eyes. I'm going to make you look back at me. Are we being realistic? Or are we kidding ourselves? And if we're kidding ourselves, then we can't expect the rewards that we might like to have. I'm looking here, I'm on Facebook, because gosh knows I'm always on Facebook. If you're ever looking for me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Diane Hochman. You can find me there, and I'm looking for, I wrote something kind of neat today, and you're here with me real live time, so give me a second to scroll down and find it. Oh, it's not here, we're on Mother's Day, so it's not there. Let's see, scrolling up. I don't know, I'm wasting time here on the show. You guys are going to beat me up. But, oh, here it is. I wrote, instead of trying to convince people you are successful so they'll join you, right? Instead of trying to do fake it till you make it, instead of trying to convince people you're successful so they'll join you, why not just become successful so they'll join you? And I wrote, all it takes is one push, and you can create a story that you can use for the rest of your career. I made $420 my first month. I pushed and was not afraid to do what my trainer told me to do. Once I made that money, I had the confidence and a success story to carry me the rest of the way. Until you push, and I wrote in parentheses, like giving birth, you cannot get where you want to go. Busy work will not cut it. You must go through the pain of the push. And this is what I want to talk about today. This push. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Okay. I was taught early on, and I was an avid student of Jim Rohn, God rest his soul. And he talked about, and I grew up in a very large health and wellness company, and he always told us that it wasn't about moving. We had initial orders, and one of the orders was the biggest order that you could get was $4,000 worth of product, and they'd buy it wholesale and so on. And of course, everybody who wanted to make money wanted to push those $4,000 orders out the door. And Jim Rohn would always tell us, there's no magic in getting that order, and there's no magic in that higher percentage that we were supposedly earning, because if the product wasn't going to the end user, and if the end user wasn't creating a story, a success story, a testimonial, then we had nothing, because nobody would reorder and we wouldn't have the success that we wanted. And that made a lot of sense to me. And he also taught us, as did my upline, that out of the gate, what my goal was to create a great story the first month. And don't get depressed if you're not in your first month, because I'll come back and tell you how to do this. But they told me, create a great story your first month, because 1, you're going to have confidence because of it. 2, you're going to have belief. And 3, you get to use that story later. And they said something, you get to use the story throughout your whole career. And they said something that I didn't really relate to, I didn't get, but they said that later when you're making the big money, people they won't believe that's possible for them. But you always go back to your first month story and they'll believe that that's possible, and that's how you're going to recruit them. And, it's funny. So my first month, I did a house party and I had my cousin come over who had had great results with those products. And I sold $1,000 worth of product and I made $420. So I made $420 my first month out of the gate. And I did exactly what they told me, exactly the way they told me. And lo and behold, it worked. But it's funny now, the success in my career, and it's 13 years later, and things have gone exceptionally well. I probably do use that $420 story more often than I use the big story, because the big story is unfathomable, where the small story people can relate to. So here's where you want to be, if you haven't done this already. You want to create a story, a success story, with your products as well, or any product that you're selling. Some of you guys have traditional network marketing businesses, some of you guys have different things, you're into affiliate marketing, but you want to create a success story as far as a product result, and then you also want to create an income success story. And in order to do this, you have to go through a push. You have to get past fear. You have to use that circle of influence that so many people don't want to use, or you have to spend some money on advertising and get it together just right. If you didn't create that story, let's say you're 6 months in, a year in, and you're not having the success you want. This is the other thing that I was taught, and I think it's so relevant. Any day, you can draw a line in the sand any day, and you can decide any day, I'm creating my story as of now. And when you create that story, you do a 1 week story, 2 week story, month story, you create that story, you're able to turn around and go, I just made X amount in the last 30 days. People will automatically start to respond to you because you know it's true, and you know you're not lying, and you know you're not exaggerating. So that story is critical, because that's where you get your belief from. And the only way to do it is to push. So let me share a story from later on in my career so that you can relate to this, because this applies at every level, whether you're a beginner, brand new, or whether you're advanced. Last fall, I decided to get involved in a network marketing company. I hadn't really been promoting one for a while. I've been doing a lot of teaching and training, which I love to do. Social media, love to do it. And I knew that I had to create, because I was very well known in the industry. So if I was going to enter a network marketing company, I had to create a silly story out of the gate. And I joined two entities. One is a attraction marketing training organization, and then the other one is the network marketing company. And I decided, and I had a meeting with my family, I said, guys, I'm going to put my head down, and I am going to create a ridiculous story. So I waited and waited and timed my entry very carefully. I joined at 3 o'clock in the morning one night. And I knew that I had to make 4-star managers their title. You can call it Starfleet Commander or whatever you want. This manager level, which was the highest reasonable goal. To go to the next level was significantly more volume. It would have been exceptionally challenging, and nobody had ever done that in the history of the company. I think maybe one guy had done what I did in the history of the company. So I set out, and I wanted that story. And I achieved that story. But here's the point of what I'm trying to express to you. If I have a bad month, we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to admit that sometimes we have a rough month. Maybe I get sick, or maybe something's up with the kids, or maybe I'm traveling. Gosh, in April, I was all over the world, traveling. If I have a slow month, that doesn't matter, because I always have that story. And I have other residuals and so on. But in your case, if you create that story and somebody says to you, well, does it work? Because that's what people say. Go, yeah, I made $420 in my first month. I can say that looking them straight dead in the eye. Does it work? Yeah, I lost 5 pounds my first week, 11 pounds my first month. Does it work? You know, and you want to be in a place where you can answer with conviction that it does. Because when you can, success, you know, the world is your oyster. Success is at your fingertips. Because all people are looking for, and I want you to write this down. I hope you have a Home Business Radio Network notebook. I hope you do. All people are looking for is to follow someone that's going somewhere, and to follow someone that believes in something larger than themselves. If you can create your story, and you can look someone in the eye and say it with conviction, you can go to the top of the game. If you don't believe what you're saying, no matter how slick you are, people will see through it. You can always tell when somebody doesn't believe what they're saying. You can always tell when it's, you know, a packaged up bunch of junk. You can always tell what's real and what's not real. And on the flip side, you can always tell when somebody's speaking from the heart. You can always tell when someone's telling the truth. You can always tell when somebody's excited. See, this is the key. To this day, I am more excited probably about that first month and what happened to me. I did the work, and it was true. It happened. I'm more excited about that story than the stories that we have today. Because today it becomes a machine, residual income. That's the magic. That's the promise of this industry. So if you've been around and you've been doing the do for a certain number of years, you're going to wake up at the beginning of every month with so much money that's going to come whether you work or not, whether you lift a finger or not, whether you're on the beach or in the office or not, if you've done this properly. But to me, the excitement is taking a new person, giving them instruction, and watching them go and create their story. The company that I work with now, somebody can easily create. They can make $500 in their first couple of weeks easily. And that story is the magic that carries them through. So now let's address, the end game. The end game is what's holding you back. If you haven't created the story. By the way, remember, you always listen to training on multiple levels, because some of you guys are thinking, well, I've done this. Good. Now listen to the training and apply it to your team. If you've done it, spectacular. Now you have to go out and help the next person do it and then teach them to help the next person. That's duplication. If you haven't done it, that's what we're going to talk about now. What's holding you back? I have a firm belief that the only obstacle in this industry for people is fear of people, fear of rejection, fear of people. So we have to take a look at that, because let's face it, are there people out there that are desperate to make extra money to make ends meet? They're everywhere, right? Are there people out there desperate to get healthier? They're everywhere. Are there people out there that are desperate to pay college tuition or retirement income or whatever, get a new car, get a new boat, get a new house? They're everywhere. So if we know we hold something that people are looking for everywhere, what is it that holds us back from sharing it with people? Is it that we're not sure it works? And then we did a show on this, the 4 beliefs, going back and working on our beliefs in the company and the product and ourselves and so on, the industry. Is it that we're afraid that somebody will laugh at us or mock us out? Believe me, I share that. I still to this day, don't want somebody to laugh at me, clearly. Is it that we're afraid that if it works out, that will cause repercussions in our home? A lot of people are worried. I remember when I started to grow an income and realized I was going to make more money than my dad ever did. That was very strange for me. Very, very weird feeling, and something that could stop a lot of people. What is it that's holding you? And if you can examine that, and if you could write down a few thoughts about it, and if you could really sit and weigh your dreams and desires versus the fears, if you can get them balanced out, if you can see a clear path to your goal, to your outcome, then all you have to do is decide and create that story starting now. And then it's cool because you could say, you know, I got started and I struggled for a little bit, but then I heard a training, drew a line in the sand, and 30 days after that I made $362. The next month I went on and I made $864. Since then, it's been incredible. My income is now $2,500 a month, whatever it may be, you know. It's okay to tell the truth. It's okay to tell the whole truth. But we do need to create a story that's attractive if we want people to come on board. And the responsibility for that story, oh, you're not going to like this. The responsibility for that story does not sit with your sponsor. It does not sit with your upline. It does not sit with your company. The responsibility for the creation of that story sits with you. Can you see the magic of this, though? Can you see how quickly you can turn the tide of your business if you're struggling? And if you're doing well, can you see how giving this technique to your team can make things incredible? You know, when I go in to work with somebody, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, do you have the willingness to create that story? Will you let us use all the tools? Will you let me use my voice to help you? Because that's what I did. I had my cousin come over. I didn't do the presentation. He did. I hadn't lost all the weight and all this other stuff yet or made any money yet. He had. And I just introduced all my people to him and said, listen to this guy. He had credibility and conviction. Will you allow somebody that has credibility and conviction to speak to people on your behalf? I constantly offer to do meetings, webinars, videos for my folks, and very few of them will take it up because they're afraid. What if? What happens when? What if they like it? What if they sign up? What if they fail and they blame me? What if we can spend the rest of our lives doing what if? Or we can spend the rest of our lives with our eyes on our goal, with our hearts on our dreams, looking at that outcome like the sun on the horizon and continually moving towards it. So that's major stuff. We got a few minutes left, and I just want to talk to you about everything that's going on out there. You know, guys, it's exciting time in the industry. This weekend, I'm heading out to Las Vegas for a MLM cold market. What do we call it? Cold market recruiting seminar. So some major players speaking out there. So that's going to be really informative. Some of the speakers I know quite well. Some of them I'm just meeting for the first time. And what I love about this event, it's put together by Eric Worre. It's old school, new school. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of guys that have been in the industry for 20, 30 years, and there's young whippersnappers, as I call them, that have been in the industry for, you know, a couple of years that are just ripping it up. And it's a real mastermind culmination of the best of all the worlds, the best of all the options, the best of all the ways to generate cold market leads. By the way, if you're newer, cold market just means people you don't know. Warm market means people you do know. So that's easy peasy. A lot of people have interest, you know, after they've been doing this for a little while, interest in the cold market. And there's all kinds of ways to generate leads. We'll talk more about that on another show. But that's what's going on. Then we have Coming up, I'm out in Colorado for a marketing event. That'll be going on in June. Excited about that. And then I'm really excited. I'm just making the details now. I'm going to be doing a live event here in Connecticut. East Coast rocks. We never have anything good on the East Coast. I'm like raising up my arm going, East Coast rocks. I'll be doing a live marketing event here in Connecticut in the Hartford area. If any of you guys want to hear about that, please definitely send me back a tweet or something. You can always reach me too at diane@dianehockman.com. So that's coming up. And then we'll go through the rest of the summer. That's July. And then August, nothing on the books right now, but gosh knows there'll be something or other. Might go to a big marketing event here in New York City. And then in September, back to the UK, doing Scotland this time, which I'm very excited because I have many of my ancestors come from Scotland. So it's talk about a dream come true. And all the things that you know, when you start your business, I remember thinking about all these exotic things that I would get to do. And I really am doing them. And it's so exciting. And that's why I want to encourage you. You can have this lifestyle. You can travel. You can, if you're somebody who wants to get up and teach and train, there's so many opportunities. If you're somebody who wants to be a learner, there's so many opportunities for you to travel and learn. It's just been an amazing couple of months, and 2012 is turning out to be a great year. But one last note. I want to remind you guys, as we come into the summer, this is not the time to sleep, okay? In fact, probably next show we'll talk about the seasons of profit. This is not the time to sleep. This is not the time to lay down. This is not the time to snooze. This is not the time to stuff your face with hot dogs and not pay attention. The summer is so critical to your business. When it seems like it's slow is when it's most important to be consistent, because the summer is what sets up your momentum for the new year. The summer is what sets you up for the last week of December when everybody's buying. The summer is what makes you catapult to the heights in 2013. So I want you to put your nose to the grindstone. Do some of this personal development work now. Create your story now. Don't let it wait another day. Your story is absolutely everything. Let's create it. Hey guys, it's been the Diane in the Morning Show. So excited to be with you guys today. And we are on the Home Business Radio Network, where we have positive, powered radio and professionals that are dedicated to helping you build the business of your dreams. Go out and do it this week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.